Hold up. I know I ain't never on time for nothing. Wait a minute. It, it, it said it. What is it? Like that shit. Maybe I was alright. Can you see me? Hold up. Okay. Wait a second and turn you down a bit. Yeah, I'm coming. Shit, I'm coming. God damn it. Wait a minute. Oh. Go. Steve, you comfy? Man, you good? All right. Okay. So, what is going on, YouTube universe? This is Eric from AFNB Pictures. We are here to talk horror movies. So yesterday I put up a poll, 3 topics that were optional for discussion tonight. The first one was classic horror films. The second one was top 5 horror movie filmmakers. And the third was Japanese or Korean horror films. Which one is better? Hold up. Let me set this straight. Okay. So, by unanimous decision, option 2 was the winner. So, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get into my top. This is my personal pick for top 5 horror movie filmmakers. Like I said, this is just my opinion. So obviously it's going to be biased a bit. You may agree with it, you may not. But hey, here we go. So at number 5, I have George Romero. Yes, King of the Dead himself, George Romero. George Romero has been a big part of my horror movie going life ever since I was probably, I want to say 8 years old. Yeah, I watched a lot of scary movies way earlier than I should have. Like, I watched a lot of shit that I shouldn't have been watching at a very young age. I mean, one of the first movies I went to see in the theater was Jason Goes to Hell. So I'm almost immune to a lot of gruesome R-rated shit. But yeah, George Romero, obviously he's known for his zombie movies. For me, the biggest scare that Romero ever gave me was a film he made called The Crazies. In my opinion, that is George Romero's greatest film. It's his best film that he's ever made. Now, obviously, my favorite Dead film is Dawn of the Dead, but The Crazies tops that whole series. In my opinion, it really does, because it's just, to me, monsters, like fictional monsters like zombies, vampires, werewolves, and demons, they can be scary, but the scariest monsters to me, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on this, are the monsters that exist in the world. And that monster being humanity. Humanity has always been the scariest monster. Always. I mean, hell, with all the catastrophes and wars and tragedies that we've been responsible for as a species. And the crazies, it taps into just a complete fall of society, and from the virus that really plays a big part in driving everybody fucking nuts. I have a lot of theories on that film, like my own little theories. I feel personally that I didn't really study much on what caused the outbreak, because it's been a while since I watched that movie. But yeah, to me, I would feel that a virus like that, does it really drive people crazy, or does it really just trigger all of our intrusive thoughts and turn them into reality? Other examples of that could have been Garth Ennis's Cross, which was turned into a movie called The Sadness, which is probably the biggest inspiration, biggest movie to draw inspiration from the Crazies. But yeah, that will probably be Romero's best movie. It's right up there, Creep Show, Monkey Shines, which is a very underrated film of his. Not too many people talk about that movie anymore. I barely talk about it anymore. I have, like I said, I haven't watched these movies since I was a kid. But yeah, from that, then obviously you have his Dead series. The man revolutionized the zombie genre. I mean, you watch any zombie movie from Kirkman's The Walking Dead, which is probably the biggest callback to old school Romero, and yeah, like any there's no zombie movie today that hasn't taken from Romero. So like we definitely owe him for that. But as a filmmaker, like as a horror filmmaker, the man knew his shit. Like he was top tier. Romero was definitely top tier. I know a lot of people, a lot of local indie filmmakers that cite him as their biggest inspiration to even to get into filmmaking, to even take a stab at it. So yeah, Romero is at my number 5. That's number 5 on my list. Number 4 is Wes Craven. Yeah, I know some of you probably thinking a lot of these guys should be at the top of the list, but like I said, this list, and I should probably specify this in the beginning, this list is based off of how well someone can scare me. So like I said, this is a very biased list, but I'm also appreciating the work that these men have done. Craven is definitely on that top 5 list of horror filmmakers that have scared me. Probably his best, the one Craven film that I still to this day cannot watch, and if I do watch it, I'm watching it with all the lights on, and probably I'm having somebody over. But that film is The Serpent in the Rainbow. Serpent in the Rainbow is just, this was a horrifying movie. The first time I watched it to the last time I watched it. This is one of the scariest movies that I have ever seen. And it's mainly because it taps into the topic of voodoo. My family, we are very, very superstitious people. I'm the type that I don't believe in breaking mirrors. I don't walk under ladders. I don't pick up pennies unless they're face up. I'm that guy. I'm sorry, I'm that guy. I have Southern relatives. They're very, very much into superstition. Most of us, we believe in burning incense around the house before you go to bed. I do that every night before I go to sleep. I burn incense around the house, and I open up a window to let the spirits out. I'm sorry. Call it what you want. I'm that guy, you know. My family believes in, the sight, or if you want to call it the sixth sense or the shining, whatever it is. A lot of us have that. Voodoo is one thing that we never, never dared to fuck with. And this movie was an example of why. Like, why you should probably stay in your lane and not try to tap into shit that you don't know about. And this was basically like, this was Craven's version of, hey man, you want to go into the rabbit hole, this is what happens. From that to the original Hills Have Eyes, The Last House on the Left, and I'm talking old school Craven. Like old school Craven this was top tier. Old school Wes Craven was at his shit, man. This was the best version of Wes Craven. I'm one of those, I wasn't a fan of Scream. Well, at least not from a horror standpoint. I thought it was entertaining. It just didn't really scare me that much, with the exception of the first 5 minutes of the first film. But old school Craven, from Last House on the Left to The People Under the Stairs, those were the best years to be a Craven fan, because you got you got his top level shit. You got those, you got obviously A Nightmare on Elm Street, you had Shocker, People Under the Stairs. I mean, and even going further beyond, you had Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which is, in my opinion, the best Nightmare sequel next to Dream Warriors, because Dream Warriors is probably the best sequel that they've come out with in that series. Like I actually might do that in another segment. I might actually do that in another live stream. List my try to rank all the Nightmare on Elm Street films from like best to worst. That's gonna take a lot of work. I really don't want to go back and watch some of those sequels, but uh, yeah, Craven, definitely, yeah. This is an obvious choice to be on my top five list. So yeah, Craven at number 4. Number 3, let's get a little modern with it. Number 3, he doesn't have a lot of films under his name, but the ones that he has have either A, scared the fuck out of me, or B, freaked the shit out of me. Number 3 on my list is Ari Aster. Yes, I said it. Ari Aster, the man behind Hereditary, the man that gave us Midsummer, Beau is Afraid, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Dude, and you know what's scary about him? He's just starting. He's just starting out. For him to be this good at freaking you the fuck out this early, man. Like I said, it goes back to Craven, because this is shit that Craven was doing in his early, younger days. Like, this is a young, hungry filmmaker who wants to take every vision that he has and put it on screen and give it to you. Here it is. You take it the way you want to take it. That is what I feel Ari Aster's style is, and it works for him. God, does it work for him. I remember going to see Hereditary. Me and my mom went to see it. We saw one trailer for it, and it really didn't show much of what it was about. And I'll never forget this experience. We went to see it, and an hour into the movie, we really didn't know what to say. We were just speechless. We were freaked out. Our anxiety was at all-time high. We were just glued to our seats. We were glued to the screen. I was damn near afraid to move. This movie was just very unsettling. It had that Pet Sematary uncomfortness. You know what I mean? Where it's just, you watch it and you just feel so uncomfortable when the credits hit. And I remember we drove home from that film, and it was a 20-minute ride from Boulevard Theater in Niles, Ohio to our place, back where we used to live. And 20 minutes, we did not say a word. I didn't know what to say. She didn't know what to say. We just kind of looked at each other like, did we just see that? You saw that, right? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was rough. That's yeah, like we had that, like we just saw a donkey show look on our face. Like, hey man, I'm repulsed and disgusted, but I can't look away, and I probably should have looked away a lot of times. Which brings me into his next film, Midsummer. Midsummer did the same thing, and it amplified it to 11, and it ripped the knob off. Midsummer it's half shock value, half horror, all what the fuck. Because there's a lot of what the fuck. When I first went to see this movie, I told every one of my friends about it. I told everybody about it. I went home, told mom about it. I said, Mom, we got to see this movie. Because I was the guinea pig when I showed her the trailer. She told me, you go see it and tell me how it is, and then I'll see if I want to see it. I came home, told her, she's like, all right, let me pump myself up to see this, because after Hereditary, I really don't want to watch no more of this nigga shit. But so we went to see that, and it was the same reaction. Only we were very verbal. Like that whole theater, if I had to take a shot for how many times somebody said, what the fuck, I would have got alcohol poisoning. Because we said that for the entire 2.5 hours of this movie. Loved it. But yeah, this shit was off the wall. And his stuff, it only gets worse, but worse in a good way, because Beau's Afraid amplified it again. Just when you thought he couldn't get any more WTF-ish, he does it again. But he does it in a way that's just it's not dumb. You know what I mean? Like, it's not stupid. It doesn't make you walk out of the theater and go, that was the worst thing that I've ever seen. I know some people may have their thoughts on him, just like they have their thoughts on Zack Snyder. I get it. But like I said, this list is biased. So Ari Aster is definitely like he made my list the minute Hereditary came out, as far as like modern horror filmmakers that are gonna push this shit to the next level. He's right up there with Robert Eggers, Ty West. Um, you know what I mean? He's right up there with these guys. And once again, that's another one. A24. Shout out to A24 for giving guys like this a chance. So yeah, Ari Aster. And yeah, obviously, Strange Thing About the Johnsons, which when that came out was one of the most viral YouTube videos of all time, and it was mainly because of the reactions. If you watch this movie, you understand the reactions when you watch the reaction videos. Because I had to watch the reaction videos, I had to go back and watch the film, and I wish that I reacted to it myself. It might be a little too late, but I still may do a reaction to that shit for old time's sake. But yeah, and even if you want to go watch some of his student films when he was still a film student, they're actually still free on YouTube. So go definitely, if you have not watched Ari Aster's work, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend checking this dude's stuff out. You will not be disappointed. You might be disgusted, you might be kind of repulsed, but you're gonna remember it. You're definitely gonna remember it. So Ari Aster at number 3. Number 2, which is surprisingly not number 1 on my list, which is very surprising because this man I've always cited is the reason that I wanted to pursue filmmaking. He's the reason that I picked up a video camera and started shooting. He's the reason that I wanted to get into doing horror movies and different type of genre films. Number 2 on my list is Mr. John Carpenter. John Carpenter is my favorite filmmaker of all time. He is my all-time favorite. Everything that he has done. I've always cited Carpenter. He's kind of like, he's almost the poor man Spielberg. It's not an insult. It really isn't. But it is, and I say that because Carpenter never, ever, outside of Halloween and The Thing, he never got a big break. I always said if Carpenter got that big box office break that he has always deserved, he would have been king of the mountain. I mean, king of the mountain filmmaker. They would have gave this man the tools and just the range that most box office filmmakers had. If Carpenter had that, man, you couldn't touch him. You wouldn't be able to touch him. I mean, from Dark Star to Halloween, I mean, do we really have to go down the list of why this guy is on the top list? From The Thing to Prince of Darkness, which is my favorite Carpenter film, In the Mouth of Madness, even like his lower, The Ward, Cigarette Burns off of Masters of Horror, which is the show that, God, I wish they would bring back. I really wish they would bring that show back, man, because that shit was so good. Masters of Horror was so underrated. That gave a lot of those filmmakers a chance to like really shine for an hour, and they shine bright like a diamond. Carpenter was one of them. Man, I mean, his work is just, it's endless and it's timeless. It really is. And probably the first movie like I watched of his that really decided to, that helped me decide, you know what, I'm gonna take a stab at this, was a film he made back in '76 called Assault on Precinct 13. Not the shitty remake that they did. I'm talking about the OG Assault on Precinct 13. I got the front camera facing me, so I don't know who's really watching or commenting. I really should put this on. I'm debating, should I put this on front, or I may do it in a minute just to see who's watching. But yeah, that was the first film to really, hold on. I'm getting distracted. I'm going to turn this around. Yep, I'm going to turn it around. That and that. Because I don't know if you're watching or commenting. That and But yeah, Carpenter. I'm sorry, I'm fiddle fucking a lot, and I apologize. Yeah, man, like it's hard. It's almost hard to pick just one Carpenter film that's the best. It's easy to pick one that's a favorite. Like I said, my favorite is Prince of Darkness. Prince of Darkness. It's the best chapter of the Apocalypse trilogy. Um, and it's a fun fact. Carpenter was actually inspired by Howard Hawks, and Howard Hawks was never known for his horror films. Like the only one that he ever really produced was the one that John Carpenter remade, The Thing from Another World. Outside of that, he dabbled into a lot of genres, which is funny because Carpenter tried to do the same thing. Carpenter tried to do the same thing. He's got a lot of films that are outside of the horror genres. Like he's got sci-fi, he's got action. You got Big Trouble in Little China, which is in a category of its own. That is cult classic, hands down. That is definitely a cult classic film. I mean, he has Elvis, which is a very under known project. Early Kurt Russell. Early Kurt Russell, man. If you can find a copy of that, and if you can find a copy of Dark Star, let me know because I would like copies of those my damn self. But yeah, Carpenter definitely is. That's an obvious to be on my list. Like I said, the man's an inspiration. The man is a fucking icon. From everything, just his entire career. And if you haven't checked it out already, if you have Peacock, go check out John Carpenter's Suburban Screens. It's actually a very interesting show. It's about real life accounts of supernatural and paranormal experiences. I watched one episode so far, and I was very impressed. I thought he did a great job. What else? Actually, you know what? I'm still on the topic of Carpenter. Another reason that he's one of my biggest is because he writes, directs, produces, but the one thing he does that a lot of other directors were not known for, he's a composer. I don't know a lot of composers slash directors. John Carpenter, and that's the one thing he's always been known for, is his music. Carpenter was so good at utilizing old school sight and sound to scare you. His style took you back to the original like Hammer films, to old school, Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff flicks, to whereas sometimes the music got you in that suspense mode, you know what I mean? And that was really what inspired me while making my short film, The Bathroom. I did the whole score was entirely, I did the whole score on keyboard. It was a little Yamaha keyboard that my mom got me for Christmas. Shout out to her for that. Thank you. And I just started fucking around with it. Just kind of going back to how Carpenter used to do his thing. He would have his little keyboard, his synthesizer, and he would just, hey, what sounds good with this scene? What will make this scene scarier? Throw some freaky music in there. Let's see what we get. And it's been working for him ever since. Even with the newer Halloween films from Blumhouse, which are fucking awful. I'm sorry, I couldn't hold that back. I'm sorry, those are terrible. Those are terrible movies. God, those are so bad. The best thing about it is probably him and Cody with the music. The music was the best thing about all three of those films. But yeah, Carpenter number 2, definitely yes. So that leads us to number 1. But before that, I will give a few honorable mentions. One honorable mention is a Japanese filmmaker by the name of Takashi Shimizu. Takashi Shimizu is known for directing The Grudge, The Grudge 2, the original series, which is entitled Ju-On. If you haven't checked that out, I'm pretty sure you can find them on Amazon for a decent price. I think one of them is actually, it might be on streaming service. It might be on Tubi actually. I'm not sure, but yeah, um, probably his best film, which is a movie that's actually free on YouTube right now, is a film called Marabito. Marabito is Takashi's take on. It's his take. I'm sorry, I'm slurring my words. It's Takashi's take on the vampire genre, and it's very well done, man. I don't know what it is about Asian filmmakers and taking classic monsters and just remix them and turning them into something just great. From that to Park Chang Wook did it with Thirst. Thirst was another great vampire film, which was way different from any vampire film that we've had here, in Western cinema. Yeah, Park Chan Wook's another honorable mention. Toby Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Poltergeist, another honorable mention, definitely. Um, Trying to think of some other ones. Ty West, he would have been on my list, but like I said, this list is based on fear factor. It's based on people that things that have scared me, and it once again goes back to Carpenter. Prince of Darkness was probably one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. But Ty West, I would say the scariest movie that he had is a film called The House of the Devil, which is free on Tubi. He's another one that is this guy's going places. And Ty West is going places, definitely. If you have not seen the X series, which is X, Pearl, and Maxine, which is coming out this year, Pearl is probably the best one in the series so far. We'll see when Maxine comes out, but yeah, Ty West definitely, definitely an honorable mention, and definitely a name to look out for. If you have not seen his work, please go check it out. You will not be disappointed. So, enough rambling. Let's get to the juice. Number one on my list of top 5 horror filmmakers is Takashi Miike. Yeah. Had to go Asian with this, man. Takashi Miike is, in my opinion, one of the greatest, not just horror filmmakers, but one of the greatest filmmakers and hardest working, by the way, of all time. This man has over 100 movies under his name. Not a lot of them are scary. Not a lot of them are horror themed, but the ones that are, those are the ones to me that stand out. The first film of his that I ever watched, and this was the one that put me into, watching Asian horror films, excuse me, from Japanese to Korean to Thai to, to, there's another one I was gonna, are those the only ones? Chinese, yeah, Taiwanese or Chinese or whatever you want to, those are like the top 4 right there. But yeah, Asian horror has been taking over, and they don't release a lot, but the ones that they do release, like you immediately say, I want to see that. I want to see that. The first film of his that I ever watched, and it's my favorite of his, is a movie called Audition. If you know, you know. If you don't know, look that shit up. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I'll be here all night talking about that shit, and I got other stuff to do. But yeah, this movie was the best way I could describe it. It's Fatal Attraction mixed with dark manga, mixed with just straight up fucking just freaky supernatural type shit. Like this is one of those movies where every time you watch it, you miss something. You see something that you didn't see the last time you watched it. Yeah, and once again, this is very much why I loved Ari Aster. It's the same reason. When he does scary movies, they leave you very unsettled. Audition left me very unsettled, and it does that every time I watch it. I watch it every Halloween. Fun fact: it's one of the ones I watch every single Halloween. That's like on the top of my list of like movies that I watch for 30 days. You know, it's my first film out of 30 days of Halloween. But yeah, from Audition to Ichi the Killer, which is probably his most popular one. Gozu. Gozu was another one that was horror themed. It was horror slash yakuza, and he's so good at that. He's so good at mixing gangster films with horror. Like the way he does it is just so good. And like I said, he's the hardest working. This is one of the hardest working filmmakers ever. Like it's over 100 films under his name, and he's still going. And he's not even like he's barely into his 60s. So that kind of lets you know, like, this dude started young. So he's got a lot of years to go before he decides to hang it up. And who knows, this dude might keep doing it till the wheels fall off, until you bury him 6 feet deep. He's just going to keep working and keep giving us good shit. From Yakuza Apocalypse, Yakuza Demon, to Visitor Q. Man, if you ain't never watched Visitor Q, bro, this man, if you like, that's all I'll say. If you ain't watched it, go find you a copy of Visitor Q. It's very hard to find. Very hard film to find. I had to dig deep into the bowels of Amazon to find this fucking movie for a cheap price, and to get them to import that shit here. But man, I was not disappointed. I was grossed out. I didn't want to eat for a few days, but I was definitely not disappointed. Yeah, Takashi Miike, hands down, like this dude, like he doesn't do horror films a lot, but when he does, you gonna remember it. You definitely gonna remember that shit. So, yeah, Takashi Miike at number one. He's at least my number one. Mainly because of Audition, because that movie is just it's frightening. And for those you young bucks getting into the dating game, watch that movie and actually, you know what, watch that movie back to back with Fatal Attraction. If you just now getting in, if you into all that freaking with online dating shit, which is still, I don't agree with a lot of it, because I've never really liked the concept of just hooking up with total strangers. I've never really been big into that. I've done it, and it's just not my thing. I'm more into getting to know somebody, other than, a few texts like, all right, cool, let's meet up, fuck. Hey, if you can get it, go ahead. But just know that there are some crazy bitches out there. Excuse my French. There's some crazy people out there. These Audition is a prime example how there's some crazy motherfuckers out there. So just watch out. That's all I'll say. So, yes, that is my list of top 5 horror filmmakers. I want to make this. I'm thinking about doing like a weekly thing with this, with AFNB's Let's Talk, and I want to get some more topics, some more things to talk about. I don't want to just come on here rambling. I want to actually get on and discuss, real shit. Actually have something real to talk about. Like tonight, I worked hard to pick this topic, so I think I might make this a weekly thing. So if you would like that, definitely, post comments down below, or, hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, on TikTok. Mostly I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'll try to leave a link in the description once I get everything edited here. But yeah, let me know if you would like Let's Talk to continue, and we can get some more topics down the road in the near future. Like I said, I want to make this a weekly thing, so hey, let's get it. Let's see what we can do. For those that are watching, I want to thank you for sitting and wasting 30 minutes watching me ramble about shit. I'll definitely be doing this again. And yeah, Thank you for checking out another edition of AFNB's Let's Talk. And stay healthy, stay safe, stay happy. And always remember, AFNB, always forward, never back. Peace.